to go over the format. We're going to have opening statements, 2 minutes. Then the next question is, after the opening statements, and we're going to start by random selection. We have 1, 2, and 3. Carlos is number 1. Then on closing statements, we're going to start with Howard and work towards me. We're going to do opening statements. We're going to ask the candidates to explain their commitments to the Sherman Oaks community. Shh. If you want to talk, please do it outside. People are here to hear the candidates. And feel free, if anyone is disturbing you, to stand up and tell them to please talk outside. I need your help. Then we're going to go from the second part. Please explain your commitment to the Sherman Oaks community. Question and answers is next, and John Eisen is going to handle those. If you have additional questions, please do not come in front of the camera. You can come around and give them to John. And then we're going to have closing statements, and then we're going to be done by 6:45. And please feel free to come up and talk with the candidates afterwards. Then we'll start the second part of the meeting at about 5 after 7. With that, I'd like to have our first candidate, who's the Libertarian candidate, give an opening statement of 2 minutes, and we have a timer up here. Carlos?
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm an immigration lawyer here in San Fernando. I'm a political refugee from Cuba. I came in 1970, 40 years ago. I'm married. My wife is a school teacher in North Hollywood, and we've got 2 beautiful, beautiful children. Now, I have very little time, so I don't know if I'll be able to convince all of you, but I'm sure I can convince some of you of what I plan to do once I get to Washington. Number 1, I am for a balanced budget amendment. We have a $1.4 trillion deficit that is being added to our $14 trillion national debt every single year. We've got to stop the madness. Our children are going to live in a third world country. Number 2, comprehensive immigration reform. I'm tired of people blaming immigrants who come to this country to work twice as hard for half the pay in jobs we don't want or shouldn't be doing. Number 3, the immediate withdrawal of all of our troops from Afghanistan, Iraq, and other parts of the globe. Terrorism is not caused by religious differences. Terrorism is caused by our military occupation of foreign countries and our entangling alliances. As Jefferson said, commerce with all, alliances with none. Now, my 4th point, I probably have very little time, but underlying all this, folks, is that we need congressional term limits. No congressman should serve more than 6 terms, and no senator should serve more than 4 terms, which is 24 years. Congressional approval rates at this point are under 20%, yet re-election rates are over 90%. Why is that? Because these folks have gerrymandered these districts to ensure their perpetual re-election until they either die in office, go down in a scandal, or retire voluntarily. The incumbent has been in office as long as the Republican candidate has been alive. And he's the epitome, with all due respect, of a career politician. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next one.
How many in this room know someone who have lost their job? Yeah. How many families do we know who have lost their homes? How many of you know what it's like to get your paycheck and then have to borrow from your dwindling savings account to pay your bills? Since January, I have knocked on the doors of over 15,000 voters in this district and have met person after person who, like you and me in this room, have been affected by this economy. I spoke to the woman, Arlita, who has 3 children over the age of 40 living at home because they cannot find jobs. I spoke to the business owner in Sherman Oaks around the corner who has decided that it's better to move his business out of state because he can no longer afford to keep it here and keep the doors open. I find it ironic that films like Captain America are being shot in Great Britain while film industry and crew sit here without jobs watching their savings accounts thin. This is ridiculous. This is affecting everyone. Now, my name is Merlin FROYD, and I'm running to represent you. And this is what we're facing now. This situation is not prejudiced towards your income, towards your age, your education, or political party. This is affecting everyone. And albeit it is understandable to have moments of anxiety and fear, it is incomprehensible to accept this as the new reality. Now, I am an Eisenhower Republican. I believe in fiscal conservatism, and I am socially moderate. The federal government is there to protect us from fraud. It is there to protect us from the foreign enemy. It is there to help with interstate commerce, but outside of that, you, the American people, have the right and need to make the decisions after that by you alone, not some foreign committee or East Coast committee. Now, if you agree with what I just said, then I am your man. My name is Merlin FROYD, and thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We got the point that there are a lot of people here that are supporting Merlin. Okay, but we only have a limited period of time, and we ask you, you've identified yourself, and let's focus on getting as many questions asked and answered by the candidates as possible. Next, Howard.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Is the mic on? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me. All right.
Okay, wait till Jules adjusts it, please.
Here, you can share the video that Mike
Okay, Jules, try it again.
Is it better now?
Yeah. More, Jules, more.
How's this one?
Okay, stop the clock.
So Merlin has the crowd and Merlin has the mic. It's great to be here. That's my wife. Co-opted by Merlin supporters sitting next to her. Look, I'm honored to be here. I think the right thing for me to do as the incumbent is to participate in debates with opponents who are serious about their positions and are pursuing the office. I started almost 36 years ago, longer than Merlin's been alive, running against a 26-year incumbent, and my motto was time for a change. So I understand where you're coming from. But I want to start off with just 2 points. One is we were at Notre Dame High School, and last night a prize student from Notre Dame High School, a member of the athletic team, Connor Lynch, was killed in one of those tragic automobile hit and run things, and I think we should just have our condolences to the Notre Dame family and to his family. And secondly, mentioning Notre Dame, on November 11th, one of the things I'm quite proud of is we started for the first time in the Valley 6 years ago a Veterans Day parade every November 11th on Laurel Canyon. This year, our Grand Marshal is Admiral Mike Mullen, Notre Dame High School graduate, born and raised in this community, who is one of the most distinguished and respected military leaders of our time. He is chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and he's coming out to join with us, and I invite everyone to join us and commemorate our veterans who are going through such incredibly difficult tenures in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and in serving and coming home afterwards. Let's honor them on the floor.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next question was Carlos. The next question is, please explain your commitment to the Sherman Oaks community. What would you do to make Sherman Oaks even a better place?
Well, I've been up and down the street, as Merlin has, meeting business folks, and it's no secret that people are suffering. We're in a recession, despite what the government may want you to believe. I don't see things getting any better personally. And what really breaks my heart is I've never seen so many storefronts and vacant lots that are just sitting there. And it doesn't have to be that way. And it's not necessarily caused because of the recession. The truth of the matter is that our government, whether it's local, state, or federal, is business hostile. It's anti-business. Sure, unless, of course, you're in the banking industry or automotive manufacturing. But for the small guy or the small girl with a few dollars in their pocket with a dream, it's nearly impossible. They're being killed with regulations and taxes, and when I get to Washington, I'm not going there to make laws. I'm going there to repeal regulations and legislation so that businesses can begin thriving again, investing and hiring employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Merlin, what would you do for Sherman Oaks?
Well, my first job actually moving here in 2001 was at Macy's. And then after that, I worked at Lynn's and things. I lived down the corner at 4412 Ventura Canyon. And one of the things I loved about Sherman Oaks was that I could actually walk to and from work safely. But in the last 9 years, I have seen things get worse. I have seen foreclosures, the amount of foreclosures increase. I know that squatting is a major problem in this area. I have friends in the film industry that have moved out of the state. Friends that own casting directors and that own casting agencies and casting offices that have shut down completely. I have seen empty storefronts become a rarity in this community to become a common eyesore. Linens and things, my former employer, has been empty for 2 years, and right next door, Katie Toys is now gone. I find that absolutely ridiculous. I believe that the federal government can help by getting out of the way, by lowering taxes and reducing regulation. Because things can and things will get better, but not by the hands of the government, but by the creation, the innovative spirit of those that are sitting in this room. Thank you very much. That is what I will pursue. And also, for the members that are in this room tonight, I have signed a pledge that I would repeal the estate tax that affects many in this room as well in this community.
Thank you. Howard?
I've represented Sherman Oaks for 28 of the 37, almost 38 years I've been in public office. My 10 years in the legislature, my first 10 years in Congress, and these past 9. I live 4 blocks outside of Sherman Oaks. I do my laundry in Sherman Oaks. My first district office was in Sherman Oaks. I swim in the Sherman Oaks Park pool on weekends, and when I'm back from Washington, I'm deeply committed to this community. And what I share with these gentlemen is the notion of my vision of a Sherman Oaks where the parents of the kids know that the public schools are a place that offers the kind of choice, whether they're charter schools or magnet schools or neighborhood schools, where their kids can get a good education, where these stores don't have no vacancy signs, and where the business environment is such that small business can prosper, and that most of all, that the thing that caused people to move to Sherman Oaks in the first place, the quality of life here, the residential nature of the community, the community esprit de corps is maintained and built, and that this is a community I love, I respect, I've invested great time in it. There are areas preserved through parks all throughout this neighborhood in this area because of legislation I've sponsored.
Thank you.
And efforts I've made. Thank you
very much. Okay, next, bring up John Eisen. He has the questions from the audience, and he'll be handling this portion of it. And in general, it's going to be 45 seconds answer, unless John decides that a different time period is appropriate, and he'll notify Bob Anderson. Okay?